All right, so this is the one friend, or I guess I should say ex-friend now. We were close at one point, but anyways, she might have just, I don't know when she'll come around, but sorry to get a little ahead of myself here, but this is the one friend that honestly I almost forgot about, but you know, I'm here to just briefly mention, my friendship between me and Mary, Mary Bankshill. Um, Once upon a time, I've known her through my closer friend Vivian, whom I met in high school in what class was that? World History, I think. I think it was I think it was U.S. history. I think it was World History that I met Vivian. I know I met her in my sophomore year, and we were both sophomores that time in high school. So I met Mary through Vivian at that time, and she was also, I think she was Mary was a grade lower than us. So at that time, I met her. I'm trying to remember if I met her in that same year. I think it was in the sophomore year, and I think she was probably in the, yeah. I just know she was a grade lower than us both. So yeah, I wanna touch on this because I've after I did Cecilia, I thought about who to talk about next, and originally I was gonna go with me and Angelique. That one may definitely be a little longer, but as I thought about that one, I then thought about this one, Mary, because honestly, I almost forgot about her. No, actually, I did forget about her. As the years pass by, that we have not talked for so long. When's the last time we talked? 20. I don't know if it was after. I don't know if it was after the pandemic. Probably like in 2021 or so. But yeah, it's been so damn long. I could have sworn. I think we talked that one time, and that was like after the pandemic. But yeah. So anyways, as I touch on this, once upon a time we were close friends, and I think Mary. Let's just be honest. I think she had feelings for me. So when was this? Like I think we started to become close in my junior year. Going to the 11th grade, and I'll never forget the one time that was it during a lunch period, and she and I were hanging out, and you know we were, I forget which area we were at. We were by some lockers, and right by I think that was the math area, and when we were just talking and all that, and after that it's like there came a moment where it looked like we were about to make out, where it looked like she like I can tell like she wanted it, because I was looking around and there was like a couple of couples out there. They were like, I think they were making out and all that. So I was like, oh man. At that time, I felt pretty shaky and a little nervous because I don't know if I was gonna do it or not. You know what I'm saying? Now, it never happened, but it got that close because I remember Mary she put her hands on my arms right there. And I was like, oh my gosh, is this really gonna happen? And so, you know, to me, I kind of regretted that, you know, and obviously, people do a lot of stupid things in high school, crazy stuff, right? Hell, if I had the mentality like most of those people had, like if you're talking about making the most of your life, then, you know, I would have done it. Hell, I feel like I could have done it, but, you know, and Mary's decent looking. She's not bad, right? Maybe not the most good looking as Mari is, obviously, but she's decent looking enough, right? So, anyways, yeah. So we started to strengthen our friendship, and as our closeness just came around, you know, it just grew, and even after at least I graduated, and you know, I think fast forward to like 2010. And I think me and Mary just started getting pretty close from there. Yeah, we were friends, all right. And I think she just really loved to just text so much. you know, before I met some of these guys from the Popsters, she was the only one I know. You know, she is a Filipina, mind you, and not that it has anything to do with nationality, but she was a very bubbly kind of person, and she always texted me a whole lot, and you know she would always wait on me till I text. You know who that reminds me of? Christine. Yeah, the first time that me and Christine just started our friendship, I think Christine was to an extent was worse. And Christine is about like a few years younger than me. You know, she's young. She was younger than me and Mary. You know, but Christine's pretty decent looking too, and she's very pretty. But yeah, when it came to Mary, it's like man. And then when she tried to talk in English on her text, it's like man, it sounds so broken up. But now that I met Rika, it's hers is a lot more broken up. It's like she was trying to say something, but then it's like Rika's is a lot more limited, and she ain't the only one. I know some of the other friends that I was close with and am still close with to this day. They tried, but I think like now looking at Mary, if I was to talk to her, like looking back at some of her texts, she's actually not that bad. She's like at that level of these friends like Sam and Mari was like that at one point, and guys like Honey Garcia, Glide, and there's a lot of them that were like that. you know Even Christine before, and Kriza before, you know before they started speaking English really well, even as through text, right? But yeah. So this is like because before those guys, Mary was, the way she texted, I was like, man, why is she talking like this? Her English is so damn broken up, and then when I started meeting a lot of these guys, like from the Popsters and even Mari, I was like, oh yeah, I'm used to it. Now it's like, hers is not that bad. It's not as bad as like some of the other peeps, like Rika, who tried to say something in English, and it's like it's very limited. You know what I'm saying? It's like way more limited and broken up. And like I said, she's not the only one. So, anyways, fast forward to 2010, we were pretty close, and we talked on the phone a few times, and she's somebody. Don't get me wrong, she's nice and all that, but sometimes she can get a little impatient. And look, I didn't have very many female friends back then. Vivian and Anastasia and Mary were the three like female friends that I had that were close. So as with Mary, I kind of expected, like, because she has a bubbly personality, and she would love to text and all that, and I do my best to get back to her and all that, and she lets, you would expect that from a girl, like, especially if she's considered a lady friend, like her, and of course Mari too, But fast forward to 2013, that was when I wanted to date her, because I don't know, like after Marcella, like, I was trying to, I was trying to hook up with Marcella when she was in my dump, and it didn't work out. So next thing I know, I tried Mary, and I knew she liked me from way back then, but I just wanted to see if how things was gonna go. I feel like I was ready. So I was like, hey, Mary, um, I was ready to, like ask her out and all that, and unfortunately, like, um, it just like, I mean, how do I say this, man? It just got to a point where it just became such a headache, and I know she's very traditional about when it comes to like the going out and all that. It's not like how people go out these days, it's modern and all that, but her, like, when it comes to her family, it's like, man, this is how they do it traditionally, like the old school style, the old way. You know what I'm saying? Um, like if I was to court her, you gotta court her with her parents. So it takes a whole lot. Now, look, eventually, if I meet if I meet my soulmate, of course, eventually I gotta have introduce her to my parent, to my family, and she has to introduce me to her family as well, right? That's how it goes. But it's like this way of courting. It's like, man, I don't know if I can take it, right? And you know, while I was like ready to ask Mary out, I'm trying to remember when this started. I think this is like toward the end of October, I think, and you know, I feel like at that point, while while she was willing, when I found out about this process, I'm just like, I don't know, man. It just became a headache at this point, and she started to grow really, really, really impatient. She started to get more and more upset, and it's at the point where it's like, you know, are we still gonna do this or not? And for me, I already knew that it wasn't gonna go so well, and so you know, I think I had to cut it eventually. So yeah, it was just that bad. Even Rico told me that you're better off just cutting it off, because if it's not going to work well that way, then it's I think we're just better off being friends at that point, especially because, like, it's the bird season, and it's basically the holiday season, right? And it's just like, I don't know if it was just me, man. I think I'm just not really in that dating stage, you know. Yeah, I find Mary to be somebody that, especially since she liked me from the past, and I thought maybe it'll all work out if if I give her a chance. And unfortunately, I just didn't see myself in that stage yet, you know. So it's like, yeah, I felt like even I myself just was just not ready, and you know, eventually it just cut off, So yeah, we had not talked for so long, and you know, and I think it was a long period where we haven't talked until, I'm trying to remember the next time we talked, and I think I can only remember last I don't know, last few years. I know sometime we talked like after the pandemic. So yeah, we talked, and then obviously I saw that she had a new Facebook, and you know, and I mean, I don't know if she has a Facebook now. I'm not even on it. So at this point, it's like, I don't really care what's going on in social media. I don't even care what's going on with other people that who don't want any part of me at this point. I mean, I'm just trying to live my life and trying to fix myself. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, for the most part, I think, as far as our friendship goes, especially after what we went through, trying to get together when that never really worked out, was more of a headache. And you know, I feel like, I don't know if she'll ever come around again. Honestly, the only way I can see that happening is if I run into her. But who knows when that's gonna happen? Who knows if she's still living here in this in California? So I don't know. If I feel like it's just come to an end in that sense. But yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna take this as I'm never gonna see her again, and she's like, I'm not gonna forget our memories and all that, but you know, I'm surprised that they even put Mary on my ex close friend memorial wall. So, but considering that she just quietly just faded from my circle, so yeah, man, it is what it is, and I just want to thank our memories, and I'm pretty sure she's already in a new relationship, so it's all good, And I think she was in a relationship before, you know, when we were still friends. But at the end of the day, yeah, she has her own life, and so do I. A life that I gotta fix. So, yeah, I just want to share what our friendship was like, and where I stand with it. And then it seems like she just has completely disappeared from my circle. So, yeah, I mean, who knows if I'll ever run into her, like I said, but I'm just gonna see this as I'm never gonna see her again. So, and besides, I already have a bunch of other Filipina friends out there. Obviously, Mari is my best friend, and obviously, she is, she's always around, even if we have this distant friendship. So that's all I gotta say, and y'all have a nice rest of your morning. Peace.